If you're trying to find love again after heartbreak, take a walk with me. What did your life look like, and who did you spend time with? What were some of your favorite hobbies? And what were some of the goals and dreams that you had for yourself outside of a relationship? And now I want you to answer this question on a notebook or a plain sheet of paper. Why did you stop doing all of those things when you got into a relationship? So many of you have a tendency to give up on, change, or let go of the things that you enjoy when you get into a relationship. You tell yourself that's the sacrifice that you have to make in order to be in a relationship with this person. You're doing your best to make sure that you fit into their life. And I want you to ask yourself, when was it exactly that they asked you to do that? And you might be thinking, well, it seems like it was implied based off of conversations that we've had. And while that can be true, it can also just be your perception. That's why it's important to always seek clarity and understanding. More often than not, they didn't want you to give up anything. In fact, it was your independence and self sufficiency that initially attracted them to you. Side note, I'm only a couple miles into this and it's already dropped like 10 degrees. You had this whole life prior to them where you would light up and get excited when you talked about all the things that you were doing and all the places that you were going. They absolutely loved that you were changing with all the different stages of life that you were going through. But very early on in that relationship, you stopped doing all of those things so that you could spend more time with your person. In the very beginning, you had 4-hour phone calls that were soothing to your soul, and it just felt so amazing to be able to have that. There were even a couple times where you fell asleep on the phone, leaving you feeling so connected to the other person. You even started to build a story about what was going to happen next in your relationship. This person didn't know it yet, but you guys had a dream life that was absolutely amazing and right around the corner. But at some point, even you realized that something felt off. Something just wasn't quite right. And one day, they started pulling away. And this is where you start to feel more of an anxious shift inside of yourself. You might be thinking, I've never really felt this before, but somewhere it's familiar, like it's written on your nervous system. It's just been a really long time, and then it hits you. It's so familiar, it's like one of your caregivers. You start to realize that you've been trying to heal a core wound through this relationship, and it feels like you're repeating an old tune. The CD is stuck or it has a scratch on it and it keeps skipping. So you take it out, you wipe it off, and you put it back in, and you try to play the next tune. And even though you know it's scratched and it's only letting you play the first 4 songs, you keep playing it over and over again because it's your favorite. And this is where you might start to blame yourself for all the problems in the relationship and take ownership of everything because it allows you to take hold of that fantasy and keep it going. You sit there in this place of hope that this person's going to come back and choose you. And you might be asking yourself, am I ever going to find love again? And the answer is yes, you absolutely can find love again. And throughout this entire video, there's been a bunch of small steps that are going to help you find you, to tap into more of who you are and understand where you're going and the why behind why you're doing it. And this is right about when all my easier said than done people come out. Where you at? High five, guys. No one said it was easy. That's life. But you are worth putting the effort into and making yourself a priority. And maybe you've never done any of that before and you're not sure where to start. Don't worry, I got you covered. Go check out the Blueprint Podcast and the 21-Day Self-Love Challenge. The link is in my bio.